Hello everyone. I am making another Katseye tarot video because there's such a hot topic recently in both K-pop and the Western market due to Manon, but today, we will be looking more into what the other girls feel about their Coachella performance and all of the mess that has happened with it. Before we start, this is for entertainment purposes. Please take tarot with a grain of salt. Do not direct any hate to the members, and this is all just alleged. Thank you. How does Katseye feel about people calling their music brain rot songs? The cards represents a state of being overwhelmed by too many options, illusions, and mental clutter. In this context, it perfectly mirrors the brain rot concept, a whirlwind of memes, short-form content, and superficial, shiny things. It suggests the group sees these comments as part of a massive, disorganized cloud of public opinion that isn't grounded in reality. The Eight of Wands is usually about speed, but here it feels like the viral nature of the brain rot comments is hitting all at once. It suggests a feeling of being bombarded by fast-paced, shallow critiques that move too quickly to actually process or care about deeply. Despite any cool exterior, the Three of Swords indicates that the brain rot labels and the cringe allegations actually do sting. It represents a feeling of being misunderstood or having their hard work reduced to a joke. It suggests that, on some level, the group feels the sharp edge of the internet's mockery. The Knight of Swords is the correction to that hurt. This card represents a sharp, intellectual, and fast-moving energy. Instead of sitting in the sadness of the Three of Swords, the group, or their management, chooses to charge forward. They use their wit as a weapon. They lean into the brain rot, ironically, to take the power away from the critics. It's a don't care, moving anyway attitude. Was Megan uncomfortable with Lara licking her? In the top position, a reversed Empress suggests a lack of genuine pleasure or comfort. It often points to a blocked flow of sensuality. This indicates that, in the moment, the action likely felt awkward, unnatural, or like a chore. Rather than a goddess moment of authentic connection, it felt more like a performance requirement that didn't quite sit right with her internal vibes. Usually the Seven of Swords is about getting away with a sneaky plan, but reversed, the mask slips. It implies that the shock factor she was going for didn't feel as slick or cool as intended. The effort behind the act was a bit too visible to the audience, and perhaps to her. The Queen of Swords is analytical, cold, and professional. She values logic over emotion. This tells us that even if she didn't like it in a sensory or emotional way, Empress RX, she did it because she deemed it a smart strategic move. She viewed it as a job that needed to be done to get a specific reaction. Did Lara like licking Megan during their Coachella performance? The cards suggest that the moment was a purely aesthetic fabrication. It's like looking at a menu of shocking moves and picking one to create a certain image. It implies that Lara was in a headspace of roleplay, treating the interaction as one of many possible illusions she could project on stage, rather than a grounded, real-life preference. The King of Swords reversed is a very telling card here. When upright, he is the master of logic. When reversed, he represents manipulation, harshness, or a power trip. This suggests that the act felt cold and calculated. There was no warmth or genuine, like, involved. Forced power. It may have felt like an aggressive or domineering move that wasn't rooted in mutual affection, but rather a desire to shock or exert control over the stage moment. Mental conflict. It indicates a lack of mental clarity. She might have done it because she felt she had to, or was told to, but the reversed energy suggests a resentment or a messy mental state behind the choice. This combination suggests the moment was a calculated stunt that likely felt uncomfortable or mentally draining for her, rather than something she genuinely enjoyed. How does Daniela feel when she sings the Spanish part of Gabriela? Daniela's feelings are a complex sandwich. She feels empowered and ambitious, Two of Wands, but that is quickly followed by the anxiety of being scrutinized, Nine of Wands RX. She finds joy and connection to her roots, Four of Wands, during the performance, but she ultimately leaves the stage feeling a bit frustrated or stuck, Knight of Pentacles RX, perhaps wanting more creative freedom or a faster pace for her solo Spanish identity. When she sings in Spanish, she feels a sense of power and purpose. She sees it as her world stage moment, a way to bridge her heritage with her current path. It's a feeling of potential, and the realization that she is expanding her influence beyond a single language or market. While she is proud of the part, singing it might feel like a heavy weight or a test she has to pass every single time. It indicates a fear of being judged or a feeling of failing to meet the high expectations of the Spanish-speaking community. It's the feeling of having your guard up, worried about whether the performance is authentic enough. Despite the pressure of the previous card, the Four of Wands shows that she ultimately feels a deep sense of homecoming and community. Singing in Spanish brings a celebratory, stable energy to her spirit. It feels like a win for her family and her roots. It's the moment in the song where she feels most connected to her village and her supporters. The card reversed often speaks to boredom, stagnation, or feeling stuck in a routine. In this context, it suggests that even though the moment is special, there is a part of her that feels the idle version of this performance is a bit too rigid or repetitive. She might feel like she is playing a role that has become a bit stagnant, or that the creative growth she wants in her Spanish artistry is being held back by the slow-moving, corporate side of the industry. How does Daniela feel about everyone talking about her having surgeries to change her face? Daniela feels stuck in a story she didn't write. While the Hanged Man is about a willing sacrifice or a change in perspective, in reverse, it represents a feeling of being unfairly suspended in time. She feels like no matter what she does or how she evolves naturally, people are frozen on this one topic. It's a feeling of, I'm moving forward, but the world won't let me leave this conversation behind. The star is normally about healing and being seen in your truest light. Reversed, it points to a bruised self-esteem and a feeling that her inner light is being overshadowed by external judgments. It suggests she feels exposed in a way that isn't healing, but rather depleting. She likely feels that her natural growth and hard work are being robbed of their shine by people crediting everything to a doctor instead of her own evolution. This is the only upright card, and it represents the chaos of the internet. To her, the rumors feel like a hall of mirrors. There are so many different versions of what people think she did that it becomes a dizzying cloud of noise. It suggests she sees these discussions as a collection of fantasies or projections that have very little to do with her actual reality, but she doesn't know which one to address first, so she often chooses to address none. Usually, the Eight of Cups is about walking away from something that no longer serves you. In reverse, it suggests she can't get away from it. No matter how much she tries to move on to the next era of her career, this specific baggage, the surgery talk keeps following her. It indicates a feeling of being emotionally trapped by the discourse. Did the Katseye girls see Manon when she was at Coachella? The Fool represents a fresh start and a leap of faith. This shows the Katseye members as a fivesome stepping onto that Coachella stage with a the show must go on attitude. It represents their debut as a smaller unit. For Manon, it represents her being in her own bubble, starting a new journey of healing and self-discovery away from the group's intense schedule. They were in the same territory, Coachella, but on completely different paths. It suggests that if they did see each other, or even just knew they were in the same place, it was a high-stress, balancing act. The girls had to juggle the excitement of their debut with the awkwardness or sadness of Manon's absence. It reflects a vibe of keeping it professional while managing messy behind-the-scenes emotions. The Ten of Wands is the card of burnout and carrying a massive load. This confirms that the situation felt heavy. For the five girls on stage, performing without her felt like an extra weight they had to carry to prove they could still succeed. If they saw her, it wasn't a fun reunion. It likely felt like a reminder of the burden of the hiatus and the public drama surrounding it. Upright, this card is about holding on tight. Reversed, it means letting go. This indicates that any attempt to control the situation or force a reunion failed. It suggests a release. The girls and Manon had to accept that they were in the same place but couldn't be together. It points to a lack of contact or a boundary that was finally respected, even if it was painful. The cards suggest that even if they were in the same square mile, they did not truly see or connect with each other in a meaningful way. The energy was one of separation, the Fool and emotional distance, Four of Pentacles RX. Any proximity only added to the stress and weight, Ten of Wands of the weekend. The reading feels like two ships passing in the night, close enough to see the lights, but two weighed down by their own paths to stop and meet. How did Katseye feel to people's reacting to Pinky Up? In the first position, this is the card of wishes fulfilled. For the girls, Pinky Up was a moment of pride. It was their follow-up to Gnarly, and it felt like they were solidifying their place as a global powerhouse. They felt a sense of satisfaction and completion when the song first dropped, enjoying the luxury of the high-budget MV and the high-energy performance. To them, the song was a celebration of their success. The world represents completion and harmony. In reverse, it suggests that the Pinky Up era felt incomplete or fragmented. This likely stems from the fact that it was their first major release without Manon. Even with the charts moving in their favor, the world of Katseye didn't feel whole. The girls likely felt that no matter how well they performed, the missing piece of their group identity was all anyone could talk about, preventing them from truly closing the loop on this era. This card represents the group's internal bond. Despite the mixed reviews and the brain rot comments from the public, the girls leaned on each other with deep compassion. They felt a need to protect one another's feelings. The Queen of Cups suggests they were prioritizing their emotional health over the charts, staying soft and supportive toward one another as they navigated the messy feedback. In reverse, the High Priestess represents a disconnect from one's inner voice or a silencing of the truth. This suggests that the girls might have felt like they were being forced to stick to a script. While they wanted to speak more authentically about the song's direction or the hiatus drama, they felt blocked by PR requirements. It indicates a feeling of confusion. They weren't sure whether to listen to the fans' valid critiques or the company's vision. The final card shows a spark of inspiration that has been extinguished or delayed. The Page of Wands is usually about the new kid excitement of a debut. Reversed, it suggests that the constant cycle of viral, brain rot mockery and the stress of the hiatus started to drain their creative batteries. They felt a bit over it. The initial excitement of the Pinky Up release was quickly replaced by the exhaustion of having to defend their artistry against critics who called the music AI slop. According to the cards, Katseye felt professionally proud, 9 of Cups, but emotionally unsettled, World RX. They loved the song's vibe, but the public's obsession with the missing member and the brain rot labels made them feel like they couldn't win. They stayed united and empathetic, Queen of Cups, but they left the era feeling creatively stifled and tired, Page of Wands RX, feeling like their true artistic voices were being drowned out by the noise of the internet. Not gonna lie, reading Katseye makes my head hurt, so I must stop there. Thank you for watching today.